Hey everyone, I'm hoping this works. It says I'm now live on YouTube, so I'm hoping that this is working how I need it to work. So if you're on and you can see me, okay, I think I have it working. If this is on and you can see me, please let me know that you can see and have a chat with me, because at the moment I'm trying to see if I can actually see what's going on. Let me try this. I'm starting something really new here. It says load comments. Let me see. Please make sure you have created Facebook event. Okay, so I can't load comments there. I'm just trialing this. I want to go live on YouTube using my, yes, I am. 14 people are watching me now. So I'm going to, yay. Hey Ginger, how you going? Hey Elaine, you can see me and you can hear me. That is awesome. So I'm hoping this is going to work the way I want it to work. So I'm here doing some live crafting. I am on early. Hey Randy, how you going? Hey Roslyn. I'm hoping that I've jumped on early because I was hoping to get this to work properly, and it actually looks like it's working properly. So pardon me from looking over here. Hey Pam, how you going? I'm trialing my switcher using YouTube because I can go live on YouTube just with my camera, but I wanted to, like with my phone, but I wanted to be able to use my switcher program and get it to work. So this is a test run this morning. I'm going to be going live at 10 a.m. every Saturday morning from now on. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button and turn the notifications on. It's the first time I've actually scheduled a live video, so I was trying to get my head around it, because you've got to copy stream keys and you name it, and you just don't actually want to know all the technical side of it, but it was doing my head in. So I'm here and everyone is watching, so that is awesome. Please feel free to share this on your Facebook profile if you have Facebook. Please feel free to share so that Facebook people will actually catch me live as well. I do a live video every Tuesday, but it's actually turning into nearly every Wednesday now. Tuesday's getting a little bit too hectic for me, so but I do a live on Facebook as well. But this will be a regular time slot every Saturday with everything working okay. Hopefully that will happen. So what I'm actually going to do now, I'm going to get into the crafting, because you don't want to hear my chatter about all of this technical issues, but I'm actually going to use a beautiful suite that we have available to us as demonstrators at the moment, but it's coming on the 1st of November to customers. So if you simply fall in love with this suite, I can tell you it will be available on the 1st of November, or if you decide to join my Wild Heart Crafters team, you can actually pop it into your starter kit. The whole suite is $195.50, I think it is, for the whole suite. And in that suite, I'll just pop down onto my desk. In that suite, you get this gorgeous double stamp set. Now, the Christmas rose is actually red rubber, and this one, the big single rose. And this one here is photopolymer. So that's for actually lining up on your image. Today I'm actually not going to use the second stamp set. I'm just going to use this one, and I'm actually going to be doing some watercoloring. So who out there, type in the comments who loves watercoloring or who has a really hard time. Type in the comments either you love watercoloring or you hate watercoloring. Now, sometimes I think the reason of hating watercoloring is because we don't do it enough. So as I said, it comes in, it's this double stamp set. It also has these gorgeous framelits that go with it, which I will open up. So thank you everyone for joining me and finding me on Facebook. So we have the framelits. Now this framelit, I will show you in a minute, will actually cut out a part of our designer series paper that goes with this bundle. We have these gorgeous little scrolly end bits. We have two label framelets, which is sentiment framelets, which is absolutely wonderful. We have this little edging framelit, and we also have this lattice work framelit. So the framelets are really, really pretty that go with this bundle. And as I said, I'm just gonna simplify it this morning for people rather than doing too much. I mean, you know that normally with my cards, I'm pretty over the top. They've got these gorgeous gold glitter rhinestones, epoxy drops that go in the bundle. And we have this beautiful gold ribbon, which I might do. I'm going to make it 2 cards this morning. I might use that gold ribbon on my second card, I think. So I'm actually going to do some heat embossing. So with silver and gold heat embossing. So Elaine's saying that she really doesn't do watercolouring. Hi, Henny, how you going? Thanks for joining. Thanks for sharing, Randy. I'm actually going to do some heat embossing. I just want to show you quickly this gorgeous designer series paper that goes with it. It is stunning. This, and it's all got the gold foil on it. So the gold foiling is beautiful. So we have this gorgeous patterned piece, and as usual, they're double-sided. Anne says she loves watercolouring. They're double-sided. So you've got the beautiful gold foil accent side, and then you've also got the beautiful pattern side. So we have that one there. We have this one here, and this is the one that I was telling you that the framelit will cut out. I'll just show you how the framelit cuts out. I don't mind watercolouring. I do a mixture of a lot of things, really, but watercolouring is not really a problem. So the one big main rose, which it's this one here, as you can see, our framelit will cut out that gorgeous rose out of our designer series paper. So it's the one with the big single rose in the middle and the tiny little one off to the left. It also cuts out our stamped image. Oh, you're a newbie, Roslyn. Whereabouts are you from, Roslyn? Are you from Australia or are you from overseas somewhere? I'm a demonstrator, so I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Donna Gray. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator from the Northern Rivers area in New South Wales, Australia. Everything that I show you on my videos, if you live in Australia, can be purchased through my online store. So this one also has the opposite side. So it's got some beautiful pine cones and pine needles. And then we have this one here, and as you can see, I've been having fun cutting into this designer series paper. Again, beautiful gold foil accents and just a neutral pattern on the back. Ilona says she doesn't do or enough, so you don't do it or do it enough. That is correct, and I can tell you that's the only reason why I think we're all a little bit standoffish about watercolouring, but I can tell you it's actually probably one of the... Oh, you're from Queensland, Rosalind. Well, welcome. I'm actually about an hour south of the Queensland border. Iona's from Netherlands, and Sheila is from Texas. Hello, Sheila, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Okay, so I'm actually going to do a couple of different colour schemes. So I'm going to use our gorgeous... Cherry Cobbler cardstock. I've also got some Blushing Bride for one of my layers, and I've got a piece of Whisper White. Now, my cardstock is cut at 5 3/4 inches this way and then 8 inches this way. And when I fold it in half, I get a card front size of 5 3/4 inches by 4 inches. Hey, Leanne, how you going? Thanks for joining. Okay, so I'm actually going to take this Whisper White piece of cardstock, and I'm going to use my Stamparatus. So who out there that's watching, who has a Stamparatus? Who owns this wonderful stamping positioning tool that we have? Okay, so because I'm doing heat embossing, I need to use, I'm going to try and fit that in, I need to use my embossing buddy. So I'm just going to line that up on my grid paper like so. And I've got my cute little embossing buddy. So the embossing buddy is designed to, I don't have enough room here on my desk, is designed to make sure that you have no static on your piece of cardstock and no fingerprints. So I'm going to use Versamark. And I'm going to ink up with my Versamark ink. Now, Versamark is a watermark ink, so it's a clear, sticky ink. And the reason that I'm using my Stamparatus is I want to be able to stamp this a couple of times to get a really good image. This is a really massive, big flower image. And I find that you've got to actually stamp it a couple of times to make sure that you get a really, really good image that your embossing powder is going to stick to. Okay, so I've done one stamped image there. I'm going to re-ink again, and I'm finding that I've done this several times. I'm finding that the pine needles up the top are tending to be a little bit hard to get a really nice, clear, wonderful image on. So I'm going to concentrate on pressing on those again. Hey Karen, how you going? Karen and Randy, are you friends? Obviously, you're saying hello to each other. You love your Stamparatus, Elaine. It's the first thing that you ordered. Exactly. And you know, it's a wonderful tool to have in your crafting space. It's not something I use a lot, but I like to know that I have it when I need to use it, like in situations like this. So I think that's looking pretty good. I'm just going to press on those again. Okay, and now I'm going to sprinkle my gold embossing powder over the top. Now I have a piece of grid paper underneath here that's going to catch my embossing powder. So I'm just going to pick that up, and you will see how, if you haven't embossed before, you will see how this embossing powder just sticks to our stamped image. So just like so. And you can see that it's covered most of it. I'm just going to get those pine needle parts again because they seem to want to... Okay, yep, that's better. Now, one of the main things is if you have any extra pieces that are hanging around your image that shouldn't be there, either use a fine brush or, as you can see, I just use my fingers to make sure that they are not there, because as soon as you use the heat tool, it's going to stick to your cardstock. So you don't want little foreign bits of embossing powder that shouldn't be there. I'm going to now move that out of the way, have it ready for my next one. And now this is going to be a little bit noisy, but I'm going to heat emboss this now, and you will watch the wow factor when this happens. Now I heat from underneath, and the reason that I heat from underneath is so that I don't dislodge any of that heat powder. Plus, it actually, the heat will, there you go, there's that wow factor. Can you see that turning gold? Look at that. Now, if you have never heat embossed before, I can tell you, it is the bomb of card making. Who agrees? Type in the comments and let me know if you agree that heat embossing is the bomb of card making. I can tell you, when I learned how to heat emboss, I embossed everything. Sentiments, flowers, you name it. Heat embossing was my thing, and especially at Christmas. I find at Christmas time, putting silver and gold on your cards is just gorgeous. And it gives that look like, sort of like that foiled writing, the gold foiled writing on wedding invitations. But it is simply stunning. Now the reason that I'm doing heat embossing here is so that when I watercolor, I am just using our Whisper White cardstock, and I'll tell you why I'm using that in a minute. I did try with our watercolor paper, but embossing just does not work real well. Can you see that? Who loves that? So true, says Cheryl, she loves it. Yes, completely. It is absolutely the bomb of card making. So the reason that I did the heat embossing is so that when I bring in my aqua painter and I color, it's actually the actual embossing will hold the watercolor in the image. So it will hold the ink in our rose, and it stops it from spreading all over the place. So I'm actually going to use one of our in colors, which is Rococo Rose, and I'm going to use Pear Pizzazz for the leaves in this one. So what we're actually going to do is, so Rosalind, are you learning something? Have you never seen heat embossing before? Type in the comments and let me know if that's the first time that you've seen somebody do heat embossing. So we're actually going to do gold on this one, and I'm going to do silver on my next card. It is wonderful. And look at your name, Donna, Donna Rose. It goes with the stamp set that I'm using. So I'm squeezing my ink pad to get some ink on the inside of my lid, okay? So I'm actually not going to pre-wet my image because I'm only using our Whisper White. I'm actually just going to load up my aqua painter. Now, our aqua painters come in a pack of 2, and I can tell you I've got the same aqua painter that I got when I first joined Stampin' Up 3 years ago, and I'm still using the same pack. So they're not something that you will be purchasing all the time once you've got them. The only time that you really need to replace them is if the bristles on them go a bit ratty. But other than that, you get a lot of use out of your watercolor aqua painters. So I'm just laying down a layer of our Rococo Rose on my rose. And then I'm going to let that dry off, and I'm going to clean my aqua painter just on my chamois. I'm just going to squirt a little bit of water and clean it out on my chamois. And our chamois are awesome for cleaning our stamps and cleaning our aqua painters. So I'm now going to, with my Pear Pizzazz, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to squish my Pear Pizzazz, and we're going to open that up. Now, I'm just going to colour just the leaves with our Pear Pizzazz. So I've got a leaf up here. I'm going to lay a bit of colour down there on that leaf. And the beauty of watercolouring is you don't have to be that particular. Watercolouring is something that if you go outside the lines, that's totally okay, because that is the art of watercolouring. So the only thing that I can say is try not to, I've actually mixed it in there a little bit with the Rococo Rose. Try not to go over into the other colour. You don't really want to get your colours to mix together and get a little bit muddy looking, which being on camera, it's a little bit hard because I don't actually have my image right down in front of me like I would normally have. I've got it way out in front of me. So there we have our leaves done with our, so Anne's saying, I agree, I use heat embossing for sentiments often. So do I. And you know, I was never big on stamping until I became a Stampin' Up demonstrator, and that was because I found out that Stampin' Up stamps were so awesome compared to other stamps. And the only time I stamped was I used heat embossing. I used Versamark and embossing powder, and that's the only time that I used stamps to stamp. And I used to do a lot of die cutting to make my cards and things, but when I discovered Stampin' Up and our cardstock and our inks, I discovered how wonderful the art of stamping is, and I totally fell in love with it. And I do way more stamping than I ever have done now because I found out how lovely it is. So now I'm just going to put in some pretty full strength Rococo Rose here, just to give me a little bit of shading and a little bit of depth to my petals. So I'm making this rose one of those roses that they have the gorgeous outside of the petals is darker, so that's my plan. I'm going to go through and add a little bit of dark. Now the reason that I left this to dry a little bit was so that when you go back in, you can see the difference in the color. If we went in too soon and it still wasn't dry, you would find that it would be a lot harder to get that distinctive color. Now what I'm doing is just with a wet aqua painter now, just going through and just blending that a little bit. So I've got the dark around the edges, but I've just gone through and blended. So now I'm going to do a little bit of dark here on my smaller rose. And as usual, as I just said, go back in with a watery aqua painter and then just blend so that that softens the lines between the lighter and the darker. Okay, so hopefully you can see that well enough. You have used heat embossing on your onstage swaps. So much fun. Do you know what, Cheryl? You're so much further ahead than me. I haven't even started my onstage swaps. I've been so naughty. I've been so snowed under with lots of work things that I haven't got around to doing my swaps yet. But I'm sure in the next week or so, I will get myself into gear and get organised to swap. Now, in case you're new to Stampin' Up, we actually have an event, and we used to have it twice a year. We're now having it once a year, but it's our big event that Stampin' Up actually celebrate people's achievements in the company, and we all get together and we craft, and it's just, I actually say to people, it's a little bit like the Oprah Winfrey show. We have things where they have giveaways, you get prize patrols and things. It's absolutely such a fun event. Type in the comments and let me know when you're watching where you're attending on stage. If you're a Stampin' Up demonstrator and you're attending on stage, type in the comments and let me know whereabouts, what on stage you're actually going to, whereabouts you're going to be going. Okay, so that's all the watercoloring that I'm going to be doing, but you can see beautiful gold embossed image and straight away a gorgeous colored, and that took me 5 minutes. So don't be scared of watercoloring. Please get out the aqua painters and have a try, have a bit of a play around and see how you go. I'm just going to hit that with the heat gun now just to dry it off a little bit, just on the low heat. So thank you everyone for joining me over here on YouTube. I'll be going, as I said, I'll be going live on YouTube every Saturday morning, so it'll be really, really nice for you to join me here on YouTube and watch my live crafting. Okay, so that's just dried that off a little bit. Now, the reason that I did it on low heat was I don't want to melt my embossing powder or burn my embossing powder because we've already done the heat embossing. So, oh, Cheryl, you're going to Sydney and it's your first one. Please, Cheryl, if you see me at onstage, I will be in Sydney. If you see me at onstage, please come up and introduce yourself to me. I would love to chat with you while you're at onstage. Okay, so now I'm just going to take, I've got a scrap piece of Whisper White here, and I think I might actually emboss that with gold again. Seeing you love that embossing, I want to show you again so you can see what it's like. So I've used the embossing buddy again, and I'm going to ink up my sentiment here in Versamark ink. And I'm going to stamp that down, get it the right way. Stamp that down towards the bottom because I'm going to actually trim this after I've embossed it. So we've got that. Hopefully that's straight. It's a bit hard to see at this stage. I'll bring in my graph paper again from my Stamparatus. And you can buy these little graph papers. They're absolutely awesome for when you're embossing and things, to catch your embossing powder. So that's covered with my gold embossing powder. Then going to pop that back into there. Okay, I'll get my heat gun out again. And once again, from underneath, holding that underneath and waiting until that turns gold. There we go. I never get tired of that. Never ever do I ever get tired of watching that magic happen. Okay. Now, I'm going to bring in our new trimmer because I want to show you this, how fantastic this is for trimming our slithery bits of paper. We were never able to do this with our old trimmer. But now, because we have these gorgeous, these awesome groovy bits up here, we can actually butt our cardstock up against them and we can cut off a thin sliver. I don't want to, need to move it over a bit more. Get it there. We can now cut off a thin sliver of, I'm going to turn it that way because I think, yes, that's better. Because I trimmed that end with a pair of scissors. So that end was not real straight where this end is. So as you can see, you can butt it up against there now and we can trim that off. And we can get really nice and close to our sentiment like that. So then I'm actually going to bring in my triple banner punch. I'm going to pop that through. Okay, until I can see the writing there. And take it back a little bit further. And I'm going to punch that. So about there, like so. Okay, so wishing you the gifts of the season, peace and joy. Okay, so now with my card front, I'm going to, I always use double-sided tape. If I've heat embossed, if I've, you love the new white and black sparkle embossing powder. Yes, Pam, it's wonderful. So when I've heat embossed, when I've watercolored, whenever my cardstock has warped, I use tear and tape to glue my layers. Now, the reason for that is you need a really good adhesive to hold it really nice and flat onto your next layer. Now, I normally, and you know, if you've watched me before, you know that I'm a Tombow girl. I love my liquid, multi-purpose liquid glue. And the reason for that, it gives me the wiggle room, so I'm able to wiggle it around and move it to get it in the right place. But when I've used heat embossing and my cardstock is not really nice and flat, my go-to is the tear and tape. So you need something with a really good strong hold. I used to use our fast fuse that we don't have anymore. And the next best alternative is our tear and tape. And you'll see when I use this how it flattens it down. You love that the paper is held while cutting. Used to drive me crazy. Exactly, the old one slipped because we had none of those little notches that we could butt our cardstock up against. So our brand new paper trimmer is awesome. Now, if you're new and you're a customer, our trimmer is going to be available on the 1st of November. So if you've been hanging out and waiting for our brand new trimmer, we've been lucky enough as demonstrators, we've been allowed to pre-order our trimmer. So we've had our trimmer for a good month now and we've all been using it and we all love it. I actually got to trial the trimmer while I was on the incentive trip. So it was absolutely wonderful to be able to get our hands on it on the incentive trip and play with it. And we got to have a little bit of input as well. And that was one of the things that I actually said, it's great that you've actually put those notches there. And the other thing was we actually now have measurements between 6 1/4 inches and 6 1/2 inches, which it used to be no man's land on our old, I'm just going to stand up so I can line this up nice and even. So when I'm using tear and tape, what I do is I hold it above the cardstock and I work out that I look like I've got even borders all the way around, holding it up, and then I place it down onto my cardstock. So that's actually how I do it, because you get one go at it. You can't change it. So as you can see, by using that, it then flattens out on our layer, so it makes it nice and flat for us. So I'm actually going to use some of this gorgeous gold ribbon that goes with it. So I'm going to now layer that up on my cherry cobbler piece of cardstock. So I'm going to fold that in half. So I'm so glad I've worked out how to go live on YouTube using my Switcher Studio. I was thinking I really want this to happen and I really want to be able to schedule it so you all get notifications that I've gone live. So am I going to do it that way or am I going to do it that way? No, I think I'm going to do it that way. Okay. So I'm going to use some double-sided tape on the back of this layer so I can stick my ribbon into it. So I'm going to pop my sentiment down the bottom. So I just want to pop a piece just there, another piece on the other side so that the ends of my ribbon can stick into that. Now the thing with double-sided tape is to make sure you've got it stuck down really well. So make sure you rub it with your fingers and stick it down really well. Then use your pokey tool to flip up that backing tape on it. I love my pokey tool. I would be lost without my pokey tool. Now, I'm going to turn that over so I can see where I'm going to place that ribbon. So I think I'm going to place that ribbon just down there. Or do I want to do it? I'm going to do it up there. Okay, so I stick one end into my double-sided tape on the other side and then stick the other end in. So you can see that it's nice and level when you're looking at the front of the card. And then trim it off. You love using Tombow as well, honey? Yeah. Yes, Tombow is definitely my go-to glue. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Now now's when I'm going to get the Tombow out. I'm going to pop some Tombow on the back and stick that onto my cherry cobbler base. So tell me, with the people that are watching me right at the moment, do you normally watch me on Facebook? So just type into the comments and let me know whether you normally watch me on Facebook or whether your preferred viewing of craft videos is YouTube. I'm just trialing a little bit. I've done Facebook for quite a few years and I'm now just trialing. I always do recorded videos on YouTube and I always upload my Facebook videos, but I'm just testing to see if a lot of you prefer viewing videos. I'm feeling like the video's looking clearer here on YouTube. So there's things that we trial in our businesses to see if I always just want to make it better for people to view it, make it easier for people to view it and make it a better quality video. Okay, so now with that sentiment, I'm still going to line it up with my Whisper White edge. So I'm going to leave a bit of that gorgeous Blushing Bride there. Okay. And you're probably asking, why did I not use Rococo Rose if I was using Rococo Rose in the flower? I just decided that Blushing Bride, I wanted to mix up a few of the colors. So we've got Blushing Bride, Rococo Rose, and Cherry Cobbler. Okay, so Jamie says you usually watch YouTube. YouTube. So YouTube is the more popular one. Rosalind says you have to find me on Facebook. Okay, Rosalind, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to type into the bottom probably the link to my Facebook business page, but you've just got to search Donna Gray Stampin' Up Demonstrator and you'll find me over on Facebook. Okay, so now, because we've used this gorgeous gold ribbon, we have to use some of these gorgeous gold epoxy drops. So I think I'm going to use the very big one, the medium one, and a not so small one, but that. And then I'm just going to scatter some small ones around. These glitter epoxy drops are absolutely my favorite. So there you go. I could actually use Wink of Stella too, but at the moment my Wink of Stella is not within reach here at the moment. But I could actually use Wink of Stella to add a bit of glitter onto that rose. Or, as an alternative, I've just thought of something else. I have my beautiful ice glitter. So I'm going to show you what we can do with this as well. So I'm just going to, with some of my Tombow, and this is just to add a little bit of highlight on the rose. Thank you, Beth. Oh, Elaine, I can tell you. Elaine's saying maybe she'll get brave enough to try one day. I absolutely love doing videos, and I've done videos ever since I started with Stampin' Up. But as you will see, I don't have a problem with chatting to people. I'm quite comfortable chatting with people and having a lovely time crafting and sharing my crafting, and it gets easier. I can tell you, it gets easier. Okay, so I've popped a little bit of glue on there. And then what I'm going to do, I've got a container here. I'm just going to, with my glitter, I'm going to shake that over that glue that I've popped on there. Now I use a container like this so that that can drop into there. But look at that. It just adds gorgeous sparkle. Now that glue will dry clear. So once the glue dries clear, that glitter looks so much better once it dries clear. So when you use a container like this, then you can just tip it back into your container. And you don't waste any glitter. And you don't end up with glitter everywhere. Oh, Elaine, you need a facelift first. No, you don't. Okay, so that's my first card using our gorgeous Rococo Rose, Blushing Bride, and Cherry Cobbler combo with that gorgeous ribbon. I think I need a bow. I think it's just missing that little bit extra. I think it's missing a bow, so I think I'm just gonna tie a quick bow and pop a quick bow on there too. I don't know. Bows just make everything so much better. Oh. And because I'm on YouTube, when you're live, bows never seem to want to happen. Okay, go again. That's a bit better. Now I only want a little bow, so I'm just going to make the loops quite little. Because I don't want to cover up that gorgeous flower. This suite, honestly, could be used for so many more things than Christmas. I think it's a gorgeous gorgeous birthday card suite, and I think it would also be gorgeous for. You could do some beautiful wedding invitations with this gorgeous rose. Yes, so much better. I'm sorry, but everything needs a bow. Okay. Just grab some double-sided tape. Who agrees the bow's better? I think the bow just makes it. So I'm just going to pop some double-sided tape on there to stick my bow on. Just like so. Now I'm going to change up the color combination. I'm still going to do the same layout, but I'm going to change up the color combination. And just to see how different this card can look by just changing up your colors. So my suggestion is play around with some different color combos, because honestly, you would be amazed at what you can do. So that's card number 1. So now I'm going to bring in, I've got some Pool Party, I've got some Coastal Cabana, and I've got some Whisper White. Now my ink choice, I've decided to go with Pool Party and Basic Grey. I do have Mint Macaron ribbon, and you're going to go, why are you putting mint macaron ribbon with that? And I can tell you the reason behind it is it still goes really well with that color combination. Like, as you can see, it all blends. The tones are all quite nice. You like it because you get a better picture. I know Facebook is playing up so much with our videos lately. Now I will share this back onto Facebook so that people can see it and watch it. But yeah, Facebook's just playing up with people's videos lately, and so I decided to go down the YouTube track a little bit more and see how it goes. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus once again. Maybe I could turn it sideways so you can see more. Yeah, that might be a good idea. Okay, I've got to make sure I line this up right though. That in there, and my cardstock lined up with that Stampin' Up image there. Okay, so I've got a piece of Whisper White cardstock here again, and I'm going to do my embossing buddy. Always remember your embossing buddy, and don't feel scared to tap it. My embossing buddy is so soft and squishy. Everyone that comes to my classes goes, how's your embossing buddy that squishy? You love bows and butterflies on cards, Karen. Yeah, you've got me too, I can tell you. I agree. I totally agree with that. Okay, so I'm going to ink up again with my Versamark ink all the way around. And I'm going to stamp that down, and I'm going to push really, really well into that cardstock. And I'm still going to ink it up and do a second one as well. As I said, these pieces here, I found when you're embossing, you need to get a really good connection with your stamp on your cardstock to make sure that those pieces get embossed properly. So I'm going to re-ink again with my Versamark. making sure I get all of that big stamp. And I'm going to stamp down again. Now the gorgeous part about our Stamparatus is, because our cardstock doesn't move, we can re-stamp as many times as we want, and we can load up that cardstock with as much ink as you can. Are you going to watch it again later, Anne? Thank you. Okay, so I've done that. Now I'm going to go in with my silver embossing this time. So grab my silver. And then I'm going to lift that up and let that fall down over. And as you can see, a gorgeous embossed image. Now, as I said, if there's any hanging around anywhere, either with a fine paintbrush or a makeup brush, I just want to get those pieces again. That looks pretty good. I'm going to pick up my embossing powder and tip it back into my jar. So as you can see, these cute little grid papers that go with our Stamparatus are awesome for when you're embossing. Pop that aside again. Okay, so I'm grab my heat tool. And number 2 heat setting. Just watch your fingers, you don't burn your fingers when you heat emboss. There it goes, look at that. Oops. I never ever, as I said, never get sick of seeing that embossing happen. So as I said, once again, if you missed the first one, I always heat from underneath. That way it actually curls your cardstock downwards. So when you go to stick your layer on the front, the corners aren't curling up the wrong direction. So one of the main reasons why I heat from underneath, plus it doesn't blow your embossing powder everywhere. So you get a really gorgeous embossed image. So as you can see there, a gorgeous silver embossed image. Beautiful, exactly, Pam, a great Mother's Day card, exactly. Okay, so I'm going to bring in, I'm going to brush my desk off a bit. I feel like I've got embossing powder from one end of the place to the other. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my Pool Party ink, so I'm going to squeeze that again to get ink in the lid. Okay, and I'm just going to once again load up my aqua painter and cover my beautiful rose. Now this is a lot softer in color. I just wanted to do some really nice soft colors to show you. We could go the cherry cobbler and the really bright reds and old olive greens. But sometimes it's nice just to have like a softer colour. Sorry, the light on that's a bit much. Maybe if I turn it that way. No, sorry, it's a bit glary there. Okay, so I'm going to let those roses dry and I'm going to clean my aqua painter and I'm going to come in with my basic grey. Yes, I do agree that I think the bow made it a lot better. No, it's just the pressure of when you're on a video. I can tie a bow any time of the day. You get on video and they just don't want to happen. Okay, so now I'm going to ink up my aqua painter and I'm just going to do just the leaves with my basic grey. Remembering not to go into your coloured rose image there. Try not to mix up your colours. So I'm just doing just the big leaves now with the basic grey. There's another one down here. Okay, I'm going to clean off that aqua painter again. I'm going to come back in with my Pool Party and add a little bit of depth to the colour. Once again, around the outside edges of those petals. And because I'm using just our plain Whisper White, I'm not loading a lot of water on there. I'm really being careful not to overload the water because you can pill your cardstock and that's not good. And I'm just going to put a little bit of dark in that little one. Okay. Clean that off and I'm going to go back in with my grey and I'm just going to, in the middle of those leaves, add a little bit more colour. But as you can see, nothing to be scared of with watercolouring. Like, I'm doing this really, really quickly. But the effect of watercolouring is just so effective. And you don't have to be that particular. That's the whole beauty of watercolouring. Okay, I'm just going to blend those a little bit. And that is it. Hey Jacqueline, how are you going? Thanks for joining. Okay. Now, I'm actually going to, I've cleaned off my aqua painter. I'm going to take what's left over in my Pool Party here. And I'm going to get a very watery mix and I'm just going to go right around the outside of my image. Just with a really watery mix of Pool Party. And this just adds a little bit of pop to your image and makes it pop off the page a little bit more. Okay, so I don't know whether you can see that on camera, but it just makes it pop just that little bit more. Okay, so that's all I've got to do there. I need to take my scrap piece here and I'm going to ink that up with basic grey, I think. This one. Okay, so line that up on that piece of cardstock. Just like so, and I did get it straight. Bonus points to me for getting it straight. Okay, I'm just going to pop that into my triple banner punch again and banner that end. Okay. Okay. So I'm now going to double-sided tape. I'm going to dry that off a little bit actually so that it's nice and dry to pop on our card. A bit nippy in Melbourne today. It's quite warm up here in New South Wales, so we've got a lovely sunny summer's day. Quite warm. Okay, so I'm just going to dry that off, and don't forget to dry on the back of your cardstock as well. Oh, okay, Ruth, so it's great for you. And whereabouts are you from, Ruth, again? Overseas, obviously. I know, because normally I go live in the afternoon, and for I know for the people in the US it's a little bit late. It's always like 11 p.m. at night, so it's only good for when the people are not sleeping that get to watch me at that time. But you can always watch the replays, so that's not too bad. Okay, so I'm now going to use the double-sided tape once again because I've used watercolouring and heat embossing to make sure we can glue that down onto our layer and make it go nice and flat. Yeah, we had a really warm day here yesterday. I had the air conditioning going all day. It was quite warm. I worked hairdressing all day yesterday, so no crafting got done yesterday. And I'm having my big Christmas card buffet tomorrow. So I've got lots of ladies coming tomorrow for my Christmas card buffet, so that's going to be fun. I'm holding another one in November, so if you missed this one and didn't get to book in, my next one in November, I actually haven't got the date, but I will pop a link in the information in the show more box below later on when this video is uploaded to YouTube, and it's going to be fun. Ladies all come, they make a series of Christmas cards. You can make anything from 5 Christmas cards up to 8 Christmas cards for the day, which will be wonderful. They get a $40 goodie bag. Okay, so line that up. So as you can see, when you use that double-sided tape, it instantly goes nice and flat onto your layer. Oh, Donna, it's your first time watching me. Thank you very much. And you're from the USA. Okay. Well, I will be on here at 10 a.m. every Saturday morning, so you'll be able to watch, and it'll be perfect time for you. Okay, so I'm going to take my Pool Party base. I'm going to fold that in half and use my bone folder to burnish that really nicely so it folds down nice. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to use, I think it's going to go that way. No, I'm going to go that way. Okay, so I'm going to use the mint macaron ribbon. 31 on Thursday, Jacqueline, and now it's cold down there. It's crazy, isn't it? Like, any wonder people get sick. This is the weather where people get sick. They get colds and flus and things because the weather just chops and changes. I'm an asthmatic, and yeah, it plays up with my asthma weather like this. It every time you turn around, it's either hot, cold, and the difference in temperatures like that makes me get asthma. I get seasonal asthma. So when the weather is chopping and changing and can't make up its mind, it's not a happy time for me. Okay, so I'm going to pop that double-sided tape there on both sides so that I can pop my ribbon into it. I'll grab the backing off that and the backing off this one. Okay. Now I'm just going to turn that over so I can see where I'm about to pop that ribbon. Actually, you know what? We might actually do this one. I'm going to do this one a little bit different to my last card. I'm still going to pop the ribbon like that, but I'm actually going to change it, that we're going to have it going this way. And I'm going to have, my sentiment going this way or up there. Right there. Yeah, that looks great. Okay, so I'm going to do it that way. Or, no, I'm going to do it down there. I want it down there further. Okay, so I'm going to pop that up on dimensionals. So see, this is how we can change our cards up too, just changing the orientation of the card, like having it going landscape instead of portrait. And it changes the whole look of the card. What's your day job, Jacqueline? What do you do for a job? Randy says that they love the mint macaron. Okay. So I'm just going to pop that one there. And then I'm going to grab my Tombow and I'm going to layer that up. And pop that onto the front of my card. I hope you can't hear my daughter. My daughter's inside talking to my husband, like as loud as I can hear her, as plain as day. She's having a good old conversation with her father in there. Okay, so for this one, for some embellishments, I'm going to bring in some pearls, but I want to show you, oh, customer contact. Okay, yep. I'm going to show you what I do when I haven't got embellishments to match the color of what I want to do. I just bring in my pearls and I've got the dark mint macaron blends, and I'm just going to color those pearls with my mint macaron. And it just changes the whole color. Oops, that one wanted to escape. So does that one. Oh, they're all trying to escape on me. Can I get some on that? Okay, and it doesn't take long to dry because they're alcohol markers. They don't take long to dry. Got one stuck on my finger there. Okay, and then I'm just going to bring in my pokey tool, and with the putty end, pop some of these gorgeous mint, pool party pearls around the place. But as you can see, that looks gorgeous. I still think I want a bow. I still think a bow up in that top corner will just make it. Oops, once again, bow challenge because I'm on video. Okay, so make that smaller. I just want a little bow. I don't want a big one. Got a bit of sticky on my finger, which is playing havoc with the bow. Okay. Trim that off. Yes, I think the bow definitely makes it. What do you think? Definitely have the bow. Okay, I'll pop a bit of double-sided tape there. I used to use glue dots for my bows, but I've found lately, and I don't know whether it's the humidity, but I found lately that the double-sided tape holds your bows in place much better. Just personal preference, but... So, there we have two gorgeous cards made with this beautiful bundle. I'll go out a little bit so you can see there. This beautiful bundle called Christmas Rose. So, as I said, any of the items that you have watched me use today can be purchased. You can see that glitter is looking a lot nicer now that the glue's starting to dry clear. Any of the items, if you live in Australia, any of the items can be purchased on the 1st of November, or you can, if you were thinking about joining my team, you can pop them into, what am I doing here? Into your starter kit. And you can purchase $235 worth of product and only pay $169. So you will get this whole suite for $169, which is absolutely such an awesome bargain if you wanted to join my Wild Heart Crafters team. Please feel free to comment below if you wanted to join my team or you wanted to purchase any of these items. I will, after this video is uploaded from being live, I will actually pop the links and everything into the show more box down below. If this is the first time you have watched me, please feel free to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification so that you get notified every time I go live. So thank you all for spending your Saturday morning with me and taking some time out of your day to spend the morning with me. And for the people overseas, if it's Friday night, thank you very much for spending your Friday night with me. And don't forget to join me again here, same time, same place, next Saturday morning at 10 a.m. New South Wales Australian time. So once again, my name's Donna Gray. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator from the Northern Rivers area in New South Wales, Australia. If you don't have a demonstrator in your area, or you wanted to purchase any of these products, I would love to earn your business. And being part of my VIP rewards program is awesome. You get to be part of a private group on Facebook, and you get notified of all the specials and everything that's going on with Stampin' Up. So thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. And until next time, I will see you again. Bye.